Now, page 4, the 2020 rendezvous with destiny, echoes of Ronald Reagan. This election cycle is constitutionally crucial for the future of this republic. As U.S. citizens and American voters, we the people will determine our collective destiny. And the choice is both stark and clear. Do we want to continue down the slippery slope of socialism, or will we embrace the founding document, the United States Constitution, and the principles of the Declaration of Independence? Do we want bigger government? Do we want open borders? Do we want illegal aliens who are by definition criminals shielded from our due process of deportation? Do we want higher taxes? Do we want to punish successful Americans? Do we really want Medicare for all, aka single payer, government-controlled health care? Do we want to give so-called free health care to non-U.S. citizens? And because of all this socialism, do we want to bankrupt our government? Those are among the big picture questions for all Americans as we choose candidates to support in 2020. Or do we want a secure border with pro-Americans first immigration laws and policies? Do we want a balanced budget? Do we want limited government, lower taxes, and less regulation? And do we want more freedom and more liberty and a more constitutional government that protects personal property rights and welcomes success? This is the fundamental binary choice for 2020 when voting for president on down to your local school board. Simply put, our rendezvous this election cycle is with liberty or tyranny. That is our destiny. Now, driving a stake through the heart of Obamacare would restore more liberty to all Americans, which is why the snake from New York, Chuck Schumer, is defending the so-called ACA to the death.
Republican attorneys general, supported by President Trump and the Department of Justice, are making the case in court that millions of Americans should lose their health care.
Stop tape. No, they're making the case, these attorneys general are making the case that Obamacare, the ACA, is now unconstitutional. Remember the history here. It was Chief Justice John Roberts who looked at Obamacare and saw the mandate and said, oh, that's not just a mandate, that is a tax. Twisting himself into a legal pretzel, saying that the mandate is a tax and therefore Obamacare is constitutional. Well, one of the good things, maybe the only good thing out of the 115th Congress led by Paul Ryan was they snuck in the bill, the tax bill, an elimination of the mandate. And so if the mandate is now removed from Obamacare, which it is by law, this was not done unilaterally by the President of the United States, this is now done by law, passed by the House of Representatives, United States Senate, signed by the President of the United States. It's a bill, now a law, removing the mandate. So if the mandate is gone, and John Roberts, who twisted himself into that pretzel, saying that the mandate is a tax, if that's removed now, how in the world can Obamacare be considered constitutional? That, Chuck Schumer, is what they're arguing in court right now, and that will eventually make it back to the United States Supreme Court. And so what will Chief Justice Roberts do then? Because his little baby, the mandate, has been aborted. Roll tape.
All the protections included in the ACA.
Stop tape. Protections. Like, for example, those wonderful protections like I'm paying for somebody else's gynecological examination, or some woman on the other side of the country is paying for some guy's prostate exam. Those kinds of wonderful protections that have driven up the cost of health care. And how about the deductibles? The deductibles, in many cases, because of Obamacare, again, because you have to pay for this somehow. So the deductibles have risen through the roof to the point where it's $4,000, $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 a year. That's not insurance. That's in no way, shape, or form insurance. You're effectively self-insured. And then you have Health and Human Services. Because of Obamacare, now spending $100 billion, that's with a B, $100 billion a month because of Obamacare. Health and Human Services that's more than $1 trillion a year. And imagine these Democrats that want to add a layer of Medicare for all at $3 trillion a year. Imagine what that would do to our growing debt and our unfunded liability, because there's plenty of unfunded liability going on behind the scenes in all this as well. And so this is why we have to undo Obamacare, because in the end, Obamacare is going to undo us if we don't. Roll tape.
A cruel, nasty decision.
Stop tape. No, what was cruel and nasty, Senator, was the actual passage of Obamacare in 2010. And remember what Nancy Pelosi said back then. We have to pass the bill to see what's in the bill. And we all laughed and we said, what a buffoon. Well, it's true. She is a buffoon, but it's not laughable because she meant it. There were so many things, so many horrible things contained within this legislation that harmed Americans. And it's amazing to me that all of America can't connect the dots here and understand why, over the last 10 years, your health insurance premium, the cost of health care, has gone up.